I think we still have those plans that were presented.
I think a lot of it.
Park and Rec had limited funds, and they were looking at a lot of other sports and recreation activities.
The town had
so
no money to put into it.
right,
The town was
right.
not funding it. They would have to do it. Or they could have gone to town meeting.
And since there's limited picnic availability during the winter months, probably get multi-use out of one site,
well,
one
they were
location.
going to use the picnic tables, I think, around the skating that people
All right, just my recollection, and this is going back to like probably my second or third planning board meeting over 5 years ago, but I remember there was another issue with that it was going to be a temporary structure that would be disassembled and reassembled every year, and they didn't know where they were going to store it during the off season, and that was a question that I remember I had asked, and there was no.
I think that was when it was on the common. I'm not really 100% sure, but I know it's back in my memory banks about something like that anyway. So.
The question, I guess, for Deb was about, are they going to do any picking up of some of the dead wood too, just to?
It's not really part of their whole process. There's always a use for that, for the animals, and just general rotting, getting the material back into the soil is always a really good thing. They would have to remove the bittersweet and remove it properly because it is controlled by law in the state. You can't just toss it in your backyard.
Okay, you have to cut it and burn it or
yeah,
something.
kill it as best you can. Then his loggers would not do that. That would be something where we'd have to get some volunteer help to come in.
That would be a lot of work. Even the small stuff is really for leaves because it'll deteriorate and add to the nutrients in the
I was
soil.
going to say, we did the cut at Kemple Pond approximately three years ago, and by the second year you couldn't really tell. You couldn't really tell where they cleared the trees out. The scrubby stuff comes in. There'll be a change in the canopy, so there'll be more light. So some of the shrub bushes, it's not a big variety of plants growing in here. There's a lot of shade, and so you might get some other things coming in if it's opened up.
I was thinking more from if this area became a picnic area, maybe even if they drag or volunteers drag some of the dead wood so kids aren't tripping over it and stuff.
Oh no, it shouldn't be.
So let it rot, but maybe just relocate it.
And actually making piles. I mean, something like this one's kind of awkward. You might actually want to cut it up, and there's where somebody can get some chainsaw practice.
I think too the intent of the picnic area would be to loam and seed, so you're going to want to remove some of the down trees and debris. Anyway, just to level it out.
Some trees more of a rustic, or in the countryside atmosphere.
The oaks in particular, there's a couple. There's one majestic over here along the stone wall, and conservation fully intends, to preserve those. So you get some of these bull pines that are topping out. There's a timber value in terms of the harvest, but they become more of a.
What happens is a tree like that, the tallest pine over there is is growing up. It's fighting for sunlight. There's not a whole lot of photosynthetic capability on that tree, and it'll die. And Charlie pointed that out to me. There are a few around, and then you get another really big one it's in good shape. It's got plenty of space to grow. They'll leave that one and let it keep growing. It just opens up. If you've ever done any clearing in your own yard, I cleared out around one maple one time, and all of a sudden, I've got this beautiful maple tree, and all that scrubby stuff is gone. It's a nice maple tree.
Is it possible to document the process that the forestry experts will go through? Because I know personally I have almost 5 acres, and there's probably a lot of citizens who might be interested in managing their own little piece of forest effectively, because I know I have trees that are growing into each other and I really don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of, even if it was something on the website or something that people could read through and say, oh, okay, they're clearing out
this is what they're doing. Yeah.
I thought that might be
It's possible.
Deb, I'm just going to ask a question in the sense of, can you give a very brief, if this is approved, what will citizens see in September? So that they're not all panicking when they see the equipment in here and what the process is.
It's going to look a little rough with the equipment in there. You just can't help it. It's big equipment. It needs space to get in. They will have to cut some down to get to get it in, but they do their best. And it does look a little raw after the cut. The soil will be torn up a little bit. But as I say, if you want to see what it's like, go down to Kennel Pond. And as I say, this will be, I think, the 4th growing season after the cut. You can't tell. And down there we did have volunteers. I think the trails people went in and pulled some of the scruffy stuff off. They put something, if it looked really bad in a particular place, they piled a little bit of boughs and stuff on top of it. So, and that will eventually rot away, and just, the native vegetation will keep growing up. But it's not pretty at the beginning. It's not going to be. But it should just even out within a very short amount of time, a couple growing seasons.
I mean, I think it makes sense, Kathy, for safety reasons alone, to get through Old Home Day mid-August and then have them come in, and you still have a growing season to loam and seed in the fall. You can get some growth, so that if you get the spring and the summer, then it's available for use probably summer of '09.
Yeah, that's.
Or look at the forest, which you really can't tell that much. I think it's when or at least when the deciduous trees are leaved and they come down, and it is going to look a mess. But in a year,
the vast majority in here is pine anyway, so you don't have much foliage.
There really aren't shrubs to knock down in this process. That's if you see a broken shrub and all that knocked over. There really aren't very many. That whole hemlock area, he's going to leave that alone. That's just a wonderful, nice, dark, woodsy place, and that's not going to be. They won't do anything down there.
Utilize it to some degree for picnic areas, and also, I know one of the things along the way we talked about was a little trail network, where people could take a little hike or walk down here to the cemetery or something, and into the orchard, and went to some more of the Mac's property.
Can I ask a question? Not about the forestry stuff. And I'm here as an individual, not as a counselor. I'm an interested citizen who lives in town. And that's why I went to the public hearing. I'm going to leave the forestry management people to the experts, and whatever they say needs to be done is fine with me. But we have additional things that are being added to this proposal. So when I saw the proposal, it said the picnic area could be 1/4 of an acre up to an acre, and I'm uncomfortable with that. It could be this, could be that. I would hope that the commission would kind of get that defined. The buffers could be 20 feet from Mammoth Road, could be 50, and I think at that meeting, when Tim Thompson pointed out what a 50-foot buffer was, that was very close to Mammoth Road. So questions about the picnic area in particular. Is the proposal that if someone's standing on the common, they will now look into an open field right from the stone wall to here?
I would think so, yeah.
Right, and as an individual, I don't know if that's what I want my town forest to look like now. Why can't the picnic area be in the forest and more wood park-like than a clearing? That's what I'm uncomfortable with as one individual. I don't feel it's necessary to remove this whole nice buffer to create an open field when you can, in the center here, can create a park-like picnic area and accomplish the same thing and not remove healthy trees to have a field. So I don't get the clearing from the fencing at all as an individual.
As we stated earlier, the healthy hardwoods are going to remain. It's not going to be a clear cut.
No, he's right. He's right. There's a space. There's an open space. I'll tell you. Let me explain to you about the contract. I came out here with Charlie in December in the snow, or January, and I didn't have the answers because I don't know really what you're doing. I'm only here. It's like a lot of people working on a project, and we're not all by any means on the same page. I was trying to help handle the forestry aspect of the project. Charlie will do exactly what you tell him to do, and the range was put in there to give us an idea of what it might cost and what he might be able to make out of the project. So he's kind of estimated if we had to clear an acre, that's in the cost. We don't have to, and as soon as you guys decide what you want to do, we can tell that to Charlie and he can fine-tune the contract.
I don't decide anything. I'm just here.
I think
well, no, but somebody's going to decide it.
What we know is from there to the wall is 50 feet, and certainly if this was left as a forest, you could still see, still see into it.